this build we did a zoo. So this is probably the biggest build we've ever made, taking up this much surface area. We had to just do it on the kitchen table. And as you can see, it's just a bunch of small pieces for each like exhibit. So we're gonna start with just giving you the lay of the land of all the habitats, and then after that, we're gonna zoom in on each brick-built animal. So as you can see here, we have our zoo entrance with the letter Z-O-O at the very top, and then a little check-in desk with a lady who has a coffee cup and a computer, and she's checking in a group of people.
And I just want to point out, there are a couple of field trips happening right now. So those are those little, that's what those little clusters of people are. And then when you come immediately inside the zoo, you can see like a statue garden. These are all of the animals that we made, but they didn't quite work out because they were either too big or just didn't quite fit in. So this first one is a spider. And then this one is a penguin. This is a giraffe. This is the head of a bird of paradise. And then this was going to be an alligator mouth, but it turned out a little too big, so now it's a T-Rex mouth. So I'm going to start with showing the tropical area, the tropical side, then Megan will show you the more water side. So down here we have our Monkey Island. So as you can see, there's a little brick-built orangutan on the top. And so it's just filled with trees and a little strip of water along the outside to keep the monkeys from escaping. And we also have our little accessory chimpanzee. Down here is our African Savannah exhibit. So this one was absolutely massive. We just found ourselves putting together all the base plates we could find to just fit all of these brick-built animals that we have, which we'll go through later. And as you can see, this is the first one out of many that we didn't have a fence. We just kind of ran out of fence pieces. So just assume it's a fence. There's a fence there. So down here, we have our deer. So this is another one that we kind of just threw together at the very end to give this little guy a habitat. And this one also does not have any fences. And then up next, this is a petting zoo. So we have basically a bunch of rabbits and mice, and then there's also a horse here. The last horse is right over here because it's more fuel efficient to ride a horse than a golf cart. And then basically you can just feed the animals. None of these are brick built though. These are all just accessories for minifigs. And then we can start to kind of move into this next area. So we have some bats right here, and their habitat, we tried to make it look very dark and brick and woody, just a general darker feel. And then we have this food cart. Ryan made this one, so it has a completely flat counter, and he's serving pizza, pretzels, a lot of good food there.
Not very healthy though.
Just not very healthy, just delicious. Yeah. And then next up we have this bird area. So we have two bird areas actually. This is for the larger birds. And there's a nice water area, some greenery, and then also some dirt and sand. Next up is the penguin exhibit. So this has some nice snow and ice, but it also has a little bit of water for them to dive into, and some fish too, so they can eat. And then next up, there's a shark right here. So that's his exhibit. There's just a lot of glass there because this one, you have to imagine there's a ceiling because for this one, you can't have a pool or, it has to be completely enclosed because it's a shark. So that was what this exhibit was. And then there's another water exhibit. This is the dolphin pool. So here's the dolphin right here. Once again, it's not brick built. It's actually very unrealistic since it's purple, but yeah. And then we also have a bunch of minifigs here. And this is a very cool exhibit because you can get on a higher platform to see better. So that's one of my favorite parts about that exhibit. And then we can move down here. So this area is actually 2 exhibits. We have the rest of the birds here. This is our aviary. And there's actually a swinging door here. Somebody's coming in here. They're coming in there, and that's a swinging door, so it closes and none of the birds get out. And then we have some accessories and some brick-built birds in there also. We also have an alligator. So this is the second try of the T-Rex one, and it kind of sinks into the water. So that looks really cool because you can't see the whole body, you can just see it in the water, so that's pretty cool. We also realized about these that you can actually stick the bricks on. You can stick flat bricks into the crack between the dots, so that was pretty cool. New discovery. That was the first time we used that. And then we have one more build. This is probably our favorite. So it has a water area. This is the seal exhibit. It has a water area and then some rocks in the background. And this is a bubble so that you can go underneath and you can get really close to the animals, because that was always one of our favorite parts, getting real close to the animals. So that was our zoo, and now we're going to work on showing you all of our different brick-built animals. So we have a couple habitats that had an especially large amount of brick-built animals, and the grasslands was one of them. So we have a giraffe right here, has a very long neck. There is a warthog, and the tusks were very cool to use on that one. It also has a very special mouth, you can see that. There are 2 zebras in the zoo. They have different styles though. One of them we used grate pieces for, and we attached grates all along the sides. And the other one, we stacked different colored flat pieces. So that we have our elephant, which has an especially intricate face, including ears, tusks, a mouth, and a trunk, which is actually movable. Well, it's supposed to be movable, but it's a little fragile, the mouth. And it's a big, stocky character, like an elephant would be. It's not necessarily tall and skinny or anything, but it's a big one. Yeah. So then we have an African painted dog. It's not as well known, and you can see it has the splotches of different colors. We have this gazelle with the shaggy fur from the teeth pieces, and then just the little cones for the horns. Right here is an ostrich. It has 2 legs, a longer neck, and the body was made out of this circular piece that has actually little grates in it, so that was perfect for feathers. Next is the birds section. So we actually had 2 habitats, but they all kind of go together. This is a flamingo, and we used the angled pieces really nicely here. It was fun to use the pink pieces because we have a lot of those pink angled pieces. We also have on this one webbed feet. So those are little bar pieces, and those are perfect. There's a crane that uses the same technique, and it just has a larger head and different color. The last big bird is this toucan. So my favorite part about it is the beak. I think that turned out very nicely. And the eyes are just studs instead of having the actual eyes on them. And this one can actually attach onto a branch. You can see
the talons can attach onto a branch, which is how we had it situated in the zoo.
Then we have our row of 5 little birds, the really little ones for the aviary. We have 2 cardinals, a blue jay, a robin, and a canary. So those are just like really intricate little pieces. Actually, these ones, the cardinals, were built earlier and they were interspersed in some other builds earlier than this one. So we just kind of kept them together. And they found their way into the zoo. So then we have the cute little bats with the big eyes, and then there you can see there are different flapping motions depending on the piece. So yeah. Down here is Mom's orangutan. Mom made this one, and you can see the arms are moving using the hinge pieces, and there's those big pieces for the body after that. That's very neat. So it's in a crisscross applesauce pose. Then we have a deer right here. That's alliteration, actually. So we have antlers and, once again, the giant eyes. We used a lot of those eyes in these animals because they just worked so nicely. Then we have the pair of seals. So you can see they're actually built backwards. The studs are that way. But then there's the large mother, and then there's the smaller baby that's white. That's actually realistic, not just the pieces that we had on hand. Baby seals are actually white. Then finally we have our penguins. So as you can tell, we have 2 different species depending on their hair, the macaroni and then the emperor. This one has cute feet that can catch the fish, and like the whole body is round. Then this one has a neat circular belly and arms.
So yeah, that was our zoo build, and it took a while to make, so we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on our next Lego creation.